this is part 4. This will be the last part for today, and we have a bunch of progress that we've made on this live 911 Toyota Tundra. First up, we made the brackets for the speakers that are going to go in the dash. When we got to the passenger side, believe it or not, there was only one screw that was holding the speaker into place. That was it. One little screw. There was two on the driver's side. But this is what will happen. The reason why it is mounted like this is it's going to sit down in there, and it's going to be recessed into the plastic so that the grill doesn't just sit right on top of this and crush the speaker. It's kind of important. So let's take a look at what that actually means. So inside here, we have the driver's side done. And so it sits down into the dash. And so now when we look at it from this angle, it won't get screwed up when we go to put this piece on it. So this, see how that lip sticks down? When this goes in, this will sit flush on top of it and not hit that. We've also removed these speaker brackets here, and in fact they were soaking wet. And we've also removed this bracket here, so those are out. We've been able to take a look at the speakers themselves, which is kind of funny. So when you install a focal, this was in the front door, there's a piece of plastic that you're supposed to remove because those are little vented pull pieces right there. So those are vents, and this was covering them still. So they didn't even bother to peel off. Yeah, good. And in fact, there was something sitting on this. I don't know what it was, but luckily it didn't cut into the surround, so that's nice. This is going to be the bracket that is going to house our speaker. A couple weeks ago, we did one of these. It was on Instagram, and we were talking about how this sits off center in the door. Because you do that, is for one, the grill is off-centered, so the factory grill, there's no grill right here, even though it looks like there is. It's solid plastic. To reinforce this side of the door. So the sound actually only comes out of this area here. If you offset it, if you try to put it in the center, it's going to hit this window track here. So by moving it over into the actual area here, the magnet is in this area. You don't have to worry about it hitting the glass or hitting this, and you can sink it in to the right depth, and you'll get good performance out of it, and the window will go up and down. So that is what we're looking at here. This is made out of 1-inch thick blown PVC. Actually, this is a little bit thicker than 1 inch. Countersunk in the screws, which they don't have, so we'll have to come up with some new screws. But this allows this speaker to sit in here just like this and be perfectly flush. I haven't decided if I'm going to or not. I might make another piece that goes over the top of this to protect the surround. I don't know yet. I haven't decided if it's necessary or not. We'll wait and see tomorrow once we get those bolted in and see what the how far away the door panel is. If I need to, I will, but no big deal there. Tweeters are done. The tweeters are a two-piece acrylic that we actually redesigned these not too long ago. We did a Tundra, and I went back at it and came up with a different way of doing it. This little nipple right here is for the focal. Tweeter has that, and then this goes, so that's the back, this is the front, and it sits like this, and it traps the tweeter in the center. And we put 3 little washers on it to give us the right amount of height, because it sits like about that gap there. That's the perfect height of a washer. And then right here, this little hole is for an M2 screw. So if you look at the tweeter, there's your M2 screw, there's your little washer. It bolts right into place. There's your little focal nipple, and it sits in there at the right angle so that this is now, if you saw it earlier today, you can even see the tweeter, but now you can see that orange, that nice yellow focal glow, because we were able to remove this from it. Which, don't get me wrong, not every tweeter do you want to remove the grill from. Some tweeters, if you look closely, if you see anything shiny on here, or if there's a bridge that goes in front of it, don't remove it. It's there for a reason. But this is not. This is a full breathable grill that can be removed. But don't just start ripping off, because some of the grills are tuned for the front of the tweeter, so be careful. And then here's the thing, you can see the water damage, and of course it's not flat, but yeah, good stuff. Yeah, so that came out. These are the parts of the grills. This is the two-way, so this mid base will go in the back door. This is the mid base for the three-way, so which it tells you here on the back, so don't want to get those confused. So that's the three-way set that'll go in. We, as you remember, this had the epicenter on it, so we went in and fixed up the holes the best that we could. So, you know, you're not going to really, it actually sits like this, so you won't have, and like these are holes. These have to stay. That's for a bracket, but this is what we started with, and this is what we ended up with. So really, you know, not bad. You know, so like right there, kind of looks good. So we fixed those the best we can. All right, so someone asked, what are we using for the sub amp? It had the B2 sub amplifier in it, and it's getting the B2 subwoofer to go back, or sub amp to go back. This is what's going to be powering the 4 Gately 8s. It was powering it before, it's going to power it now. There's no reason to get rid of it. It's an awesome amplifier for doing this. We will have to use new zero gauge because this turned out to be not copper, so nothing there. I haven't decided if we're just going to run a zero gauge for this and a 4 gauge for the other amplifier. Might end up doing that just to keep it simple. But this is going to go underneath this seat here, as opposed to underneath this seat here. So Bobby box is back in, but we'll deal with that tomorrow when we come in. Hopefully tomorrow Fernando will be here, and he can help me get these speakers mounted up into place. Oh, one other thing that we got done is we cleaned up the radio harness. So let's take a look at that. So we reflashed the RR2 so that it is the most current, up to date. The other thing we found out is they had installed it improperly. When you're doing a Toyota, it has 2 plugs on the end of the OBD2. There's a white plug and there's a black plug. And in the instructions, it tells you to either remove this or leave this intact. They had removed it and just plugged it in, thinking they knew what they were doing. This is the data connection for it. And there is a difference, even though it's where it reads the data. It's important to check that, because things won't always work if you don't do that. Remade the harness, cleaned it all up, put it together. So the other thing we did is we added our pigtail. So we now have this all set and ready to go into the car. The reason we always add a pigtail, you have remote, you have constant, you have accessory, you have ground, all those are right here as needed for the installation. One of the things we also did was he was complaining about his Bluetooth mic being located right here in the way, so that when you flip this down, you don't get that kind of dumb. So we put it over here where we typically put it, rear-end all the wires, put it in the loom, zip tied it up, and it is right here in the dash now. Also, he has a dash cam. This guy right here ran those wires into the dash. Also, and those will connect up to our red, yellow, and black. So those will get connected here behind the radio. We ran those. You saw, we talked about how they ran them through here, real janky. Now they're ran through the dash along with this wire here, which is right here. This is going to go down to underneath this seat, and then we'll run another one across over tomorrow and come down that way as well. One thing we do have to do is this is the speaker loop, and we have to loop these speakers together. That's so that this right here will work, which is the tweeter connection, which we do have a plug for this, and we also have a plug for this, which is the speaker connection. So we'll get those fixed up tomorrow. Same here for the back door. One thing that we ran into is that they drilled this to get the wire through, so kind of made this a little loose, so we had to work it a little bit to get it to stick back into place. But this is the wiring for that, which will go in. We'll have a plug for that. But we're in a good place as far as everything that we got done today. So tomorrow we'll come in and get some stuff done, come back live, show you guys where we're at on this 911 redo live weird event we're doing that we've never done before. I hope you're enjoying this. I have been getting some text messages from guys that are watching going like, this is cool. So I'm glad you're liking it. And we'll, don't worry, we're still going to have regular videos that go out through the week. It's just, this was something, you guys love 911s. We don't always have time to film it. I didn't have Fernando here today to help me, so it just wasn't going to happen. So that's it. That's what we got. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.